Hey friend, want to know how to handle objections in sales? Let's be honest, it really stinks when you've gone through this whole sales conversation and they're like, I'd really love to work with you, but I just can't afford it. Or I'd really love to work with you, but I have to talk to my husband first. Those sales objections are obnoxious, but they're also expected. It's part of the sales process. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you the mindset strategies you need, the skill set, and also the scripts in order for you to be able to overcome sales objections with confidence so you can close more deals. I'm Amy Walker. I am a client acquisition specialist, and I help my clients to create consistent, predictable sales through organic marketing and lead generation and scalable sales strategies. And I'm so glad that you're here on the Sales Doc, where we are diagnosing your sales woes and prescribing the correct course of action so that your sales can be sick in a really good way. So whenever you're working on improving any of your sales skills, I recommend that you come at it from 3 different angles. 1 is going to be the mindset, 2 is going to be the skill set, and 3 is going to be the activity. This is the magic sweet spot of sales. And so we're going to take this principle and apply it today around specifically how to overcome sales objections and feel confident in that process. And at the end of this video, I am going to share with you my scripting that I use when I am overcoming sales objections. So make sure that you stay until the end. We have all felt this pain before, where we feel like the conversation's going really well, we feel like they're really interested, and then it comes down to the end and they throw something out and you're like, that just came out of left field. Like, I thought we were vibing, I thought we were feeling this, I thought we were on the same page, and now they throw something in your path and you're like, well, there goes that sale. No, my friends, no. It is not there goes that sale. It is, oh, here comes that objection, and we're just simply going to handle it. So this is, I think, one of the most important skills that you can learn in closing sales, and I hope that you'll actually engage, take notes, and really start implementing some changes in your scripts. Let's start with a mindset first. I want you to take note of how you feel when sales objections come up. What are the emotional triggers that it brings up? For example, if someone says they can't afford your offer, how do you feel? Do you feel guilty? Do you feel embarrassed? Do you feel bad? Do you feel down? What is that emotion? When they say that they are looking at other options, do you feel rejected? We need to know what those emotions are, because those are like anchors where it's so fascinating to me. But if you can find that emotion and you can move it out, you stop getting those objections so often. Or when they come, they just kind of roll off of your back. So we don't really know what the mindset shift is that we need to make until we find and identify what those emotions are that are trigger points for us. I want you to picture the game Battleship. You remember playing Battleship as a kid, where you're like shooting for theirs, you're saying B4 and they're like hit or miss, hit or miss. Well, if you take all of those emotions off of your board, then they can fire anything at you that they want, and it's always a miss. There's not anything there. So we have to identify, and then we have to move them out. You're probably thinking, how do I move them out? You've got to have an emotional processing tool. One of the ones that I find really effective is journaling. And so I will write, I feel bad because, and I'll get all of the information why I feel bad. It's not all related to sales calls. Some of it's like, I feel bad because I broke my diet. I feel bad because I didn't call my mom. You know, it might be other things, but we'll write all about that. Then when we have it fully documented, we can go and read the list out loud. It's important to say it out loud. Forgive yourself, let the emotion move out, and then burn your paper. And you will feel yourself start to shift out of these negative emotions. It's a very freeing process. There's other emotional release techniques, so you just simply pick one that works for you and use it around these specific trigger points. The second mindset tool that I'm going to challenge you on is, are you giving the same objections that you are receiving from your potential clients? So for example, if I notice that everybody starts saying, you know, I'm just so busy, I just don't know how I do it, I'm like, pause, am I saying this? Am I just constantly saying, I'm just too busy, I'm too busy, I don't have time, I don't have time? If I am, then I'm going to simply catch it, clean it up and stop doing it. I will adjust my language, and me getting rid of that excuse will then make it so I get less of it. I do not have a scientific reason for why that happens, but I can tell you it works, and it happens over and over and over again. It's like the energy behind my excuses attracts other people to have the same concerns that I have. If this is helpful, make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you can get notified and come back every time we release new content. So now let's move into the skill set. The first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna document what are the most common objections that we get. Mine are time, and time shows up differently. Sometimes it's I'm too busy, sometimes it's that it's not the right time. The second one is money. The third one is permission, like they feel like they need to talk with somebody else first. The fourth one is actually, for me, past failure, that they've had a coach before, or they've started something before and they didn't follow through, they didn't get what they wanted. That one comes up quite a bit for me. In fact, it's probably even, to be honest, comes up more often than money. So when I know what my objections are, and yours will probably be similar, there'll probably be something around timing, something around money, something around permission, something that's fear-based or regret-based. When you know what those are, now we can start to come up with individual strategies for them. It's funny how every time somebody tells us an objection, it almost blindsides us when we're not quite as confident in sales. It's like, where did that come from? What do I do? But you guys, you hear the same objections over and over and over again, maybe with different verbiage, maybe like 10% different, but they're basically at the core the same ones. So when you know what they are, you can be totally prepared for them. The next thing I want you to understand is that objections have layers to them. The first objection that you hear is not actually the objection that keeps them from moving forward. The first objection that you hear is the objection that they think sounds valid and is going to make it so that you will not force them to make a decision. That's what it is. It's the throw-off objection. So if you take that one and you run with it and you think that's the full story, it's actually not. Depending on what your level of trust and connection with it is with this person, you might get the real objection on number 2, you might get it on number 3. If someone really doesn't trust you, you might never get to the real objection. So don't take that first one and think that's it. Understand, like, okay, so that's the throw-off. What's next? What's next? And then you'll get to the point where it's real. When you get to the real objection, there's usually some emotion attached to it, and that's kind of how you can tell that it's real. Sometimes saying it feels like a relief to them. Sometimes they'll say it and they'll start to feel, they'll get a little teary, or they'll have to clear their throat, or some sign of emotion moving. But when you hit the emotion pocket, that's when it's real. Let's talk about the 4-part process for overcoming any sales objection. It is going to work no matter what they throw at you. Number 1, we're going to acknowledge what they just said. Number 2, we're going to ask a question to kind of open that door back up. Number 3, we're going to ask for permission. And number 4, we're going to give them some more information. So let's talk a little bit about this process. What's happening when they start to give you the objection is it's like their subconscious is closing a door and they're starting to close you out. So by acknowledging what they just said, and also, by the way, they're also starting to build up a fortress, because we've all had pushy salespeople who we said, I can't afford it. And they were like, oh, sure. Well, you can just put it on a credit card, right? And you're like, I don't feel like you're listening to me. So we've all had that experience, and they're starting to it's like they're closing the subconscious door, and they're also starting to put up like the battlements, right? To protect themselves from what attack might be forthcoming. So we are going to let them know that we hear them by acknowledging what they say. And we're going to repeat it back to them and say, okay, so what I'm hearing is you would really love to have this product, but you're just not sure if you can afford it. Is that correct? And they'll say, yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like one layer of protection goes down because we're listening. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to kind of try to like get our foot in the door as they're starting to close the subconscious off by asking a question and saying, well, may I ask you a question? And as soon as they say yes, it's like it pauses, because our brain processes questions. I can tell you a fact and you can choose to accept or reject it. But when I ask you a question, it goes inside of the brain, and you will come up with an answer. You will. Whether or not you decide to share it, an answer will come into your mind. So when I say, well, can I ask you a question? if we set money to the side, if you had these products, would you use them and love them? And if they're like, yeah, I absolutely love them. Now we're gonna go another step further and we're gonna say, well then do I have permission to talk with you about some payment options? Let's see if we can figure out a way for you to really have what you want. Now all of a sudden the vibe has shifted. I am not the person that's trying to talk them into doing things that they don't need or want. I am the person who is trying to help them get the things that they want. One thing that I believe is very important to understand in overcoming objections is that these objections have nothing to do with you, nothing to do with your product, nothing to do with your service. These are the stories and the obstacles and the stumbling blocks that are in their life literally all the time. If they tell you they're too busy, they've told it to somebody else. If they tell you they can't afford it, they use that excuse every time something pops up that they really want. So my job as a salesperson is to help them get what they want, right? Like that's what we're doing in service-based sales. We're helping people get what they want. So my job is to look at it and say, okay, here's the obstacles. I see you, little obstacle. Let's just move you out of the way so that they can move forward towards what they want with clarity and purpose. I am not in control over whether or not someone says yes or no. I'm not trying to manipulate them by saying more or less than what I believe in order to influence the outcome for what I want. I'm just being honest with them. I'm holding to what they have told me that they wanted, and I'm asking questions to see if we can move some of these obstacles out of the way. That's it. It's a really simple process. I told you I'd share with you the specific verbiage and scripting for overcoming the sales scripts, and I want to actually just give it to you. It's going to be so much easier than you trying to write it down to just go grab this book. You can get a free copy at www.salesaremything.com. And in chapter 6, that's where we first talk about overcoming sales objections. Chapter 7 is overcoming the financial objection. Chapter 8 is overcoming the time objection. Chapter 9 is overcoming the spouse objection. So you are definitely going to want to get these. Chapter 10 is how to sell to indecisive people, which would be a whole nother training for a whole nother day. But go grab the book. If you want the digital copy, go grab it for free. And then if you want the actual physical copy, you can get it on Amazon. Now you know how to handle objections in sales. I hope this has been super helpful for you. If you want more tips like this and also want a sense of community and support, I would invite you to come join our private Facebook group, Acquire. I do live trainings every week. You can ask questions. There's some really cool people in there to engage with, and I hope that I will see you there soon. And while you're here, the next video I want you to go check out is Common Selling Mistakes. Go get it, because I promise you don't want to make them. Thanks everyone, we'll see you again soon.